Welcome Primary 5, Ms. Hima Ahmed is with you. Today we will take part 1 from lesson 2 in unit 3, which is talking about the ecosystem. What is the meaning of the ecosystem? Can you see this picture? This picture is the ecosystem. As you can see, it's a natural area like the forests, like the oceans, okay? Like the small pond or lake, okay? So the ecosystem is a natural area that include what? This is a rabbit and this is a plant, so they are living organisms, right? And this is here soil and this is here water, which are non-living organisms. So the ecosystem, it's a natural area that including living organisms and non-living things. Living organisms like plants and animals, non-living things like water, soil, and the air. Okay, so as you can see, that's the ecosystem. Can you give me some examples for the ecosystem? Yes, like the deserts, like the ocean, like the forests. But at first, you must know that the ecosystem has different sizes. Okay, small ecosystem like water pond and small land. What is the meaning of water pond? Like the lake. Okay, like this one. Okay, that's the water pond or a lake. Okay, so the small ecosystem, water pond or small land. Large ecosystem like the desert and the ocean. Very large ecosystem like the universe. Okay, so the ecosystem has different sizes. Small ecosystem, large ecosystem, very large ecosystem. Okay, now we must know or identify the relation between the living organisms and the non-living things in the ecosystem. The ecosystem, it has its own system. What is the meaning of that? As you can see, it's the ecosystem. As you can see here, I have the living organisms like the plants, what else? Rabbits and fox. And also there is the saprophytic or the decomposers living organisms in the soil, right? And I have here also the non-living things like the, very good, water, soil, and also the air. Okay, okay. What is the relation between the living things and non-living things here? The plant take the nutrients from the soil and also take the water and take the air to make what? Very good, to make the photosynthesis process. The plants produce what from photosynthesis process? It produces oxygen and the glucose. The glucose goes to make the fruits and vegetables of the plant. Okay, then the rabbit come and feed on the plant. Then the fox feed on the rabbit. Then both of them die and the decomposers decompose their bodies and change their bodies into chemical elements, which is the nutrients, okay? And the plants take these chemical elements or the nutrients to make the photosynthesis process and to make the food that the rabbit feed on it and the fox feed on it. Then they die, then the decomposers decompose their bodies and returning back the chemical elements to the soil and so on. Okay, and also the plant give us oxygen gas and we take the oxygen gas at the living organisms and produce carbon dioxide gas that the plants take to make the photosynthesis process. So as you can see, there is relation between the photosynthesis process. We call it interaction. So between the components of the between the components of the ecosystem, there is the interaction. Okay, and also there is a balance between the components of the ecosystem. What is the meaning of that? Okay, imagine that the number of the rabbits was very, very large. What will happen? The rabbits will eat the plant and the plants will finish and there will be not enough food for the rabbits, so they will die and the fox will not find any rabbits to eat, so it also will die. So there must be a balance, okay, and numbers, okay, fixed numbers of every component of the ecosystem. So between the components of the ecosystem, there is balance and interaction. balance, and interaction. What is the meaning of interaction? Relations, as we said. Okay, so we take the definition of the ecosystem and the types of the ecosystem, and we also know that between the components of the ecosystem there is interaction and balance. This point, he asked you in complete question. Okay, complete. Between the component of the ecosystem there is the space and the space. The answer will be there is interaction and balance. Very good. Okay, then we will take some factors that affect the balance of the ecosystem. But at first, let's identify what is the meaning of environmental balance. Environmental balance meaning the balance that we talk about, that between the components of the ecosystem. So the environmental balance is the balance among the components of the ecosystem. So we take the definition of the ecosystem, which is the natural area that including living organisms and non-living things. And we also take the definition of environmental balance, which is the balance among the components of the ecosystem. Now, let's know the factors that make disturbance, okay, in the ecosystem or in the environmental balance. We have here two factors: natural changes and man influence. Let's start with the natural changes. But let's complete this part in the next session. Thank you for listening. Miss Hiba Ahmed was with you.